All right, guys. So I got Patrick on here. Patrick, how much did you do on Amazon? Like 250K in 1 year, right?
Yeah, a little under 1 year.
Nice. Can you do like a little show us your Amazon Seller Central? Yeah. That's like what? There you go. Okay, so that's 250K. Today you did $300 already. Now, before we get into this video, I just wanted to mention that this is an honest and unpaid interview. I don't pay, anybody to come onto this channel and share their experiences. Every experience is unique, and also very importantly is that any earnings claims that you hear in this interview. So, if the student is mentioning a dollar figure, or if I mention a dollar figure, for example, 10,000, 20,000, or 50,000, it's not a guarantee that you are going to achieve the same result. Nobody can make such a guarantee, obviously, because business is business, and some people fail, some people succeed, and honestly success depends on a lot of factors, including your work that you put into it, the amount that you invest, market conditions, and honestly sometimes just luck. And with that being said, I hope that you enjoy this success interview. So cool, man. When did you join Ecom Freedom?
So I joined Ecom Freedom around May of 2022. I was just coming off another long day in the office in accounting, and I stumbled across one of your videos, and the rest was kind of history.
Nice. And so what made you join?
Just like the daily grind of a 9 to 5. I've always been an entrepreneur at heart. I studied accounting in college, and I've been in the accounting industry for the last almost 10 years. And I just always had that like inner drive that I wanted to start my own business. When I was younger, I always thought like I'd want to own my own restaurant or start a restaurant, but the costs involved with starting that kind of brick and mortar store was just, always a barrier for me, and always made me just realize like, yeah, that's not really realistic.
Right.
But then when I stumbled across your video, it was just like, holy crap, like this is what I've always been meant to do, is start an online business. So yeah, that's kind of where my passion in this started.
Cool. And how old are you right now?
I'm 30.
30. And you started 22. So you started when you were 29, right?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool. So just in 1 year. So did you fail on the way, or did you succeed with your first product?
It was my first product, but I mean, there were definitely a lot of bumps in the road to get there. I mean,
Yeah.
and still there are, like, it's not completely smooth. A lot of things, a lot of moving parts, but yeah,
But
this was my.
which would you rather have, your old 9 to 5 or your current business, even though there's always, the natural bumps in the road of entrepreneurship? Which would you rather have?
Definitely my
Yeah.
current business for sure.
Yeah. Cool. So, okay. So you were one of the people that succeeded on the first product, which is great, and I don't claim that like everybody, even though Ecom Freedom is a great program, I don't claim that everybody will succeed with the first product. Like I didn't back in 2017 when I started, like years ago. I succeeded on my third. And so my first two were kind of like failures. But the thing about Amazon too, like when I started, um, and at the time I was following the courses that were available. The unique thing about Amazon is that you have all this data. Like you have Jungle Scout and you have the tools. You can see exactly how much products are making. You can kind of you figure out what your profit margin is. Like you really can do a lot of things to minimize your downside. And I mean the chances of somebody starting and really just absolutely blowing through their startup capital and just not selling a single unit or whatever, or not even breaking even, they're very low. I mean, you'd really have to just YOLO it, like, and not follow a proven course in mentorship. So that's good. That's good that you succeeded on your first product. So how much money did you invest in your first product, just for the first like inventory?
For the first inventory, it was probably around like 25K, but the way I did it
Okay.
was I had 10K cash, and then I opened three different 0% credit cards that you can get like 0% credit cards from a lot of different places that you don't have to pay off for maybe 12, 14, or 15, like 18 months. So I opened some of those, and I pretty much just put a bet on myself, I guess, that I'd be able to at least pay those back within a year's time, if not more.
Mm-hmm. So there was 0% credit cards. So you actually started off with the very high starting budget. Like you started off with way more than I started. When I look back, I started with, I mean, it was probably like 5K, I think. It's like three. No, it was three for the very first. This was again like 5, 6 years ago. And you still can, but I mean, obviously inflation, things are costing more, but you can also sell them for more. But what made you start with 25K? Like, do you think that everybody needs to have 25K to start?
I mean, like, so I know your course definitely says that you don't need to start with that much. I think your course actually says like 5K is a good starting amount.
Yeah.
think for me, it was just like the more product research I did, I just found that the products I wanted to sell were going to cost more. So just like with that in mind, like, you know, my inventory is going to cost more. So that's why I chose to just kind of take that more risk on. But do I think that other people need to start with that? I mean, I can't really say for sure. Probably not. I mean, I know that there are
Yeah.
a lot of people with way less that have been very successful. So I think it's kind of just like whatever risk tolerance you have
How
determines that.
much? So you mentioned that the products you were looking at that seemed more viable, they just had a higher, you know, startup capital, like a higher sourcing cost. Or does that mean that I'm assuming that you're selling it at a higher price than $30, like probably much higher, or what?
Yeah. So my products right now I have one product with two variations. My main one sells for at this time $95, and the variation
Yeah.
sells for 110. So yeah, like I guess like also it goes back to like my business philosophy, which is just I'm not someone who likes to sell like a little bit a lot, you know, so like sell like I don't know, $110 units or something. I'd rather sell like, you know, $10 or $100 units. So yeah, that kind of just goes back to what I think how I'd want to run a business.
Gotcha. So essentially, for everybody watching, for all the people that are thinking of starting this, what I'm gathering from, you know, from your testimony is that like, hey, yeah, you started with 25K, but your product was the sale price was like $95. You mentioned, right? So you know, my product when I first started, if I remember, it was 17, it was like $15 to $17. And honestly, right now, for all of the mentees that we have, like we do not recommend going for a product that sells for under $35, because you know it's just like it's super hard. Like you said, like you're gonna have to sell like 1,000 units of like a $10, like a $15 product, and after FBA fees, it's just not that much. So that's why, I mean, you definitely did the right thing, and I think that you know, going for the higher price is, yeah, it was smart. Obviously though, like the 25K, but you mentioned that, how much of it like did you have cash on hand? Because 25K was with a few of those credit cards, right?
Yeah, so it's 10,000 cash, and then I
10,000
think it
cash.
actually might have been even 20K credit cards. So around like close to like 30K.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. And that was like the credit limit that you had available basically
with
yeah,
0% cards. Yeah.
with 0%. Yeah. So like if you're, yeah, for those watching, like if you live in America, look into those 0% credit cards, because I think you said you had a year to you know, where it was 0%, right? And then it goes up.
Yeah.
So like in other countries too, they have 0%. I mean, there's less of that in Canada, but there are a few. So like definitely look into that. But again, a person has to be responsible with credit. And it's like the risk tolerance and everything too. But again, like with Amazon, and I was going to ask you if, you know, what you think about what I'm saying, is that with Amazon, it's unique in the way that there's just so much almost like data analysis that goes into it when before you launch a product, that the outcomes are very predictable. So you can like almost tell, okay, here's the best case. You know, I'm going to blow it out of the park. I'm going to sell this inventory. And then, you know, obviously your first order is not going to be your most profitable because you got to spend more to launch it with like the PPC cost. But then second, third, you know, it takes off. That's like the best, you know, and then you have like the medium scenario where it's like, okay, first order breaks even, second order, you make a little profit, and then it kind of climbs from there. And then worst case, you also know, okay, like absolute worst case, you know, I'll likely sell this product at this lowest break even price. And then at that point, you don't lose. There's like almost no scenario where you absolutely lose all your inventory, except if you launch a restricted product, like some medical device or whatever, like where your listing gets taken down. And that is for everybody watching, like that's very, very important to watch out for. But we cover that in Ecom Freedom extensively, because I've made that mistake along my journey, especially in the beginning. Like I've launched things that looked so good on Jungle Scout, and you know, they were making money, but like, you know, you wait, the inventory comes in, the suppliers, they don't really know about the restrictions on Amazon. They don't know about like what's allowed and what's not allowed. They don't really care. All they care about is, you know, making the profits on the units. But yeah, so cool, man. Like how has you know, and I wanted to say, like you mentioned, there were actually, you know, we're gonna go with this and then I'll cover that.
Can I
So
mention something about what
yeah.
you're just talking about? So, I mean, like one thing that you were talking about was just like best case, worst case, medium case scenario. I remember like when I was doing this, when I was first starting out, that's totally what my mindset was. And I was like, you know, worst case scenario, it takes me a year to sell out of my entire first inventory. And then in that case, you know, I kind of failed and I just pay off my credit cards and I guess I'm done. But that
Yeah.
was like worst case scenario, but what actually ended up happening was I started selling my product at the beginning of December, right in time for the holidays. And I ended up selling all my inventory in less than 3 weeks. So I kind of like felt like I struck gold. And,
Yeah.
that best case scenario was even blown out of the water at that point. So
Oh, so like you even, because yeah, you didn't anticipate the Christmas sales, the Q4 sales. So like you
yeah,
even went way past the best case.
went way
Yeah.
past. My profit for that first month was actually pretty insane. It was the most profitable month I've ever had till this date. In terms of like after all my costs and stuff. So yeah, I had more money than I had to pay off my credit cards. So I just kept snowballing from there, raising more capital and putting more into my inventory.
Gotcha. So how has your life changed? I mean, since you started, it's been what, 12 months now?
Yeah, so I mean, I started selling in December. Right now it's what, September, so it's been less than a year. How's my life changed? Definitely a lot happier in life. I remember when I was grinding at work, just I was just not a very fun person to be around, I guess. Pretty miserable. I'm married right now. Like my wife can tell you that she was not, I was not good to be around with her. Definitely drinking and smoking a lot more than I even did in like college. So
Wow.
just not in a great space. But yeah, ever since I've done this, like I'm just have a lot more free time to do the things I want to do. I love to
You're not
golf.
smoking as much?
No, I don't even smoke anymore.
Yeah, I mean, what you were mentioning about like smoking and stuff, I mean, it's pretty obvious. Like, a lot of people they need like this like escapism, out of their like miserable lives. And so,
Yeah.
okay, they clock in, they clock out, and they're like, like shit, like this, I can't like anymore, and so like that was me. I had that same thing when I was very young though. I was like 21, and I mean, I was smart enough to catch it pretty quick, and I was like, I cannot. I saw my coworkers at the time on my floor at the bank. It seems like you worked a pretty similar job, and I saw my coworkers and I spoke to them, and people would be like, yeah, I've been here for yeah, I've been here for like 15 years. I'm waiting for my 2 week vacation to go to like Niagara Falls or something. I'm like, dude, I'm done. What is this? Like, no chance. And I was already 40K in college debt and stuff. So that's good. So your life has improved. So like yeah, why do you I mean, okay, obviously, can you say that you're a lot more free now than you were? You feel a much higher sense of freedom. What do you think?
Oh yeah, 100%. I can definitely do the things that I want to do in life, which, I wasn't able to do in my accounting life. Not sure if you know much about like public accounting life, but we work these, tax season, busy seasons, where for
April,
like
right?
it's from like there are there's four deadlines in the year, not to like bore you with this, but like there's four deadlines in the year. There's a March, April deadline, and then there's the extension deadline, which is September, October. So, and then you have to kind of prepare for those maybe a month in advance. So it comes out to around like 3 months in the beginning of the year, 3 months in the end of the year. So it's almost like 6 months out of the year where you're working like 60 to 80 hours a week, including Saturdays. So, and I'm someone who loves to snowboard. I love like winter sports and stuff. So like that was always out of the question during those times.
Right.
I love golfing, and fall golf is one of my favorite hobbies to do, and that was out of the question during fall. So it's just like, yeah, did not have a lot of time back then. Freedom was a joke. So,
Non-existent. Yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah.
exactly. So like now
Are
these
you
days,
like, are you snowboarding more then now?
oh yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
like in the winter.
Yeah,
Cool.
I
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
went on a Colorado trip this year, which was awesome.
Nice. Nice. So that was not something that you could have done during the accounting life, right?
No,
No.
definitely.
And you were on the chairlift and you were like refreshing your Amazon sales, right? And you were like,
Oh yeah.
okay, yeah, like, yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. That's always fun. So it's like Amazon sellers constantly refreshing your sales.
Yeah,
It's like,
100%.
yeah, yeah. So okay, so that's cool. So obviously you're someone who succeeded with the first product. I'm gonna ask you two things. First thing is, how much of that do you attribute to Ecom Freedom versus just, let's say, if you just didn't have that and you just kind of winged it on your own?
I mean, I attribute everything to Ecom Freedom, to be honest. Like, I'm someone who would not go about this kind of venture without having a proper mentorship or the proper education. So, like, when I saw your 4 hour video that just explained everything from start to finish, I was kind of hooked. I was like, this is literally the blueprint that I need to start this business. And then The course was a little on the pricey side, but for me, it was just an investment in my education, and that's something I think is really important. Like, yeah, if I did this without any sort of like guidance, I think I definitely would have failed. But the course Ecom Freedom is so thorough; it goes literally through every single step of the process. So, I think it does take a little bit of making the right decisions, being smart about the decisions you make for your business. But other than that, like I think it's an excellent course. It's an excellent blueprint that'll just really just set you up for success, I think, in this industry.
So now, as I mentioned, like you're one of the people who succeeded off of their first product, and many people. I mean, me, I succeeded on my third, so I had to go through some failures, some lessons, and then many people fail, whether they take a course or not, right? No matter what, like it's business, right? It's life. So why do you think now, in hindsight, like knowing that, like thinking about people that don't succeed, like what are the main reasons why you think people fail in this business and they don't even hit their first, like they don't even hit a first successful product ever?
Yes, I mean, I think that one of the main reasons why people fail is that, doing this is not an easy venture. There are a lot of hiccups along the road. And, to succeed in this kind of business, you have to be the type of person that is willing to fail and willing to learn from their failures and just pick themselves up and keep going forward. So, I mean, I know that that's the kind of person that I am. Like, I'm just a never give up kind of person. Like if I set my mind to something, I will succeed. And I really think that's a quality you need to have in this business.
100%, yeah. And I think that a lot of people, they don't take it seriously, and that's actually why, like with my comeback on YouTube and everything, like we've actually switched the whole program. Like I looked, we really like had a lot of meetings on this with the team and with the mentors and stuff. And was it Jeff who was like mentoring you at the time? Jeff, right?
Yeah, Jeff was definitely a huge mentor. What was the other
He's our
guy's?
$1 million Amazon mentor, who's head of Amazon for everybody watching. So he's the one that you like get unlimited Facebook access to. Yeah. So cool.
Yeah, so Jeff and Andrew at the time, I think he left at this point, but Jeff has
Yeah.
been an amazing mentor. He literally answers every single question that's posted on the Facebook page, which is just mind-boggling. I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he has the time to do all that, but
He drinks
thorough.
like 5 coffees a day. He's a killer.
That
Yeah.
makes sense. And he like leads the weekly Zoom calls, which are also super what's the word I'm looking for? Just,
Informative.
yeah, super
Helpful.
informative.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. So Facebook group's
Cool.
amazing.
Nice. Yeah. So you basically you had the video series, and then like how much would you say the mentorship was the reason that you succeeded versus the videos? Or what was it, like 50-50, as in like the videos and the course?
Yeah, I mean they go hand in hand for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
The videos are just like the blueprint, like I said, step by step, super informative. But then the mentorship is just like when you run into those roadblocks, I would say. So again, like I ran into a lot of roadblocks. I had to post a lot of questions to the group. Jeff always got back to me, and yes, I can't really say one's more important than the other. I think that you need both. And that's also why I did purchase this course, is because they did have both. I didn't want to just watch videos and kind of be on my own. When I learned that this course has that like one-on-one mentoring, that was also really important for my decision to go with this course.
Yeah, I was mentioning that basically, like at Ecom Freedom, we really thought about this lately, and we were like, we really want to make sure that we have the highest, success rate. And like, if someone invests in us, then like we actually, they're like the right fit, and they are a type of person that is likely to succeed. Having done this for 5-6 years now, and having coached people and like run Ecom Freedom, and we are the highest rated e-commerce like course company on the internet. If you like search us up based like on Trustpilot and stuff, like we really decided, we were like, listen, like we're gonna have to make it more exclusive. So at this point, like it's not even open, like the course is not open. And maybe by the time that you're watching, so people are watching this, like we're taking in new people. And how we decided it's going to be is basically it's going to be like an application process, because we need to know like how much startup capital do you have, like what kind of person are you, we need to know the almost like the personality and like everything else. Because me and Jeff, like Jeff has, I'm an 8-figure entrepreneur, and Jeff has a 1.5 I think $1 million Amazon FBA business. And so it's like, for us, it's like, if we're going to work with people at this point, having coached so many people, like we want to work with the people that we know are going to be the highest, are going to have the highest chances of success. So, now moving forward, like what would you tell, like what kind of advice would you give, or anything that you want to tell people that are, really wanting freedom and they want to start an online business, and, they are considering this, like anything you want to tell them, like even encouragement. I know we talked about the obstacles and stuff, which, they happen, but anything you want to say, like any kind of advice or.
Not to sound like just a pure mouthpiece for this course, but I think that, like, for me, when I was looking for a course to join, I looked at a lot of YouTube gurus out there. There's a lot of them out there, and something about like how you just like put it all out there in that 4 or 5 hour video was just very telling to me about what this course is about. I almost joined another course actually right before I joined this one, and it was one of those like do it for you type deals.
Automation.
Yeah, like they just do. You give them.
I'm really glad you didn't join that, dude. A lot of those guys are not doing so well.
You give them like $10,000 and they just like set it all up for you. And then like something seemed, something seemed very sketchy about that. And then like when I really thought about it, I just, I know that I'm the type of person that would want to just do it myself and, go through all the trials and tribulations of all that. And I'm so glad I did, because it just like helped me learn so much about this industry. And it's something that I really enjoy doing. Like, it's not super difficult once you get everything up and running. It's maybe like 3 hours or less a day that I'm spending on this. And so I guess like going back to your original question, I think the advice that I would give is definitely choose the right mentorship. Have a mindset of wanting to learn and being willing to fail and picking yourself up after each failure.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much, Patrick. Thanks for allowing me the opportunity to have you on the channel. And your success story is very inspiring for people. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Cool, man. If you enjoyed the student success interview and you want to get started, you're tired of waiting, you want to achieve freedom, and you want to build that successful e-commerce business, click on the link down below to check out the Ecom Freedom Elite Mentorship Program. It is the highest rated e-commerce mentorship program online. We only work with a limited amount of students every quarter. We only take 200 people per quarter per course, whether that's Amazon or Shopify. So when you click on that link, if you see a wait list, then put in your email and you're going to get an email as soon as we are opening up the next round of mentorship students, which is every quarter, 200 people. So if you want to do this, you want to do it the right way, and you want to work with people who have blazed this path before and who have achieved success, you want to work with $1 Million mentors, go ahead and click on the link down below to put in your application to join the Ecom Freedom Elite Mentorship Program. We only work with people who fit the profile of somebody who would succeed. We know there's lots of different factors, and since we've worked with thousands of people and brought them to success, we know the kind of person who succeeds, and we only want to work with people who really know we can help. So check that out. Click on that link and put in that application form if you want to get started and you want to achieve freedom now. Thanks so much for watching. For the best freedom and online business information out there, for the best, truth, freedom, and for the information that will set you free, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching.